What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party with J-Cal. I'm J-Cal, and this is a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. As always, we're here every Tuesday to get you pumped up for NWA Power. It's the hour before Power once you join us. Glad you're here. I see some of my friends are already here in the chat. We've got Bobby Petito's here. Michael Manning is here. Ben Heebs is here. Jeremy with Wrestling with the MMA is here. Dave Scooby's here. Everyone, thank you so much for being a part of our journey, our path, our show, our community of over 1,000 subscribers right here on YouTube, and we're growing ever so much on Twitch as well. If you guys are over on the Twitch account, we do appreciate you. I see Lamb just jumped on, and we're so grateful for all of your guys' support and continued engagement, joining us here. So thanks for being here, and let's talk some NWA. Wrestling with MMA says Power will be on YouTube today, in case anybody didn't see that. I was not aware of that. Interesting. I wonder why it's on YouTube today. Maybe they had some issues with Fight. I know that the turnaround time from a Saturday or for a Monday television taping, I guess maybe Sunday night to Tuesday morning, is cutting it pretty close. So perhaps maybe this was just the quickest way to get the product out. Maybe they didn't have time to get it onto Fight. But that's just merely me speculating. I don't really know the genuine reason why they're on YouTube today, but hopefully we'll find out very, very soon. Hey, did you guys hear? There was a pay-per-view just this past weekend, Saturday night, July 11th, Alwayz Ready. And who would have thought that Trevor Murdoch, the rogue, the rapscallion, the wild card that needs to be dealt with, would walk out of Knoxville as your NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion? I, for one, didn't see that coming. We were all kind of making our predictions of what would happen. Maybe Matt Cardona would be able to compete in some sort of death match. Maybe somebody like Titan might come in as Matt Cardona's special enforcer and really come in and wrestle for that World's Heavyweight Championship. Others thought that Aldous would be handed the title and perhaps maybe wrestling somebody else in the Cardona family. All of these things weren't what happened. I really feel like this was an interesting way to go. You brought in Thom Latimer, who had a victory earlier in the night. You had obviously Trevor Murdoch, who, of course, had a victory earlier in the night. Nick Aldis was scheduled to be a part of the match. And, things happened, and you have a new world's heavyweight champion. What do you guys think about that? I'm very curious as to hear your reaction to how they decided to determine this champion. Is there going to be a giant asterisk? I don't think any one of us wanted this to happen. I don't think any of us were hoping to see Matt Cardonas stripped of the title. I think we all would have preferred to see him wrestle if he was healthy enough. But you put Nick Aldis, you put Thom Latimer, the returning Sam Shaw, and Trevor Murdoch into a four-way dance in Knoxville, and Trevor Murdoch comes out the other side. Let's see what your comments are. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see. The main event was best for business considering the situation the NWA was put in. It's hard to argue with that, Ben. Just if you look at the situation, right, what could they have done? Now, personally, I would have rather seen somebody like Elijah Burke in there as opposed to Sam Shaw. And that's no disrespect intended towards Sam Shaw, but the man hasn't wrestled a match for the NWA since, the Crockett Cup 2019. Hardly a number one contender for the title, and hard to make a case for somebody just entering the company getting a title shot. Isn't that what we were complaining about with Cardona in the first place? Or isn't that the same thing we were complaining about with Mike Knox in the first place? Somebody like Trevor Murdoch to become champion, to get that shot of that title, obviously he had a rematch. But even if he didn't, he's a guy that's been on Power since day one. Nick Aldis certainly was there as well. Samar Retro Cave corrected me. The NWA 70th anniversary, not the Crockett Cup, but the 70th anniversary, which took place, I believe, in 2018? Yeah, it was 2018. I get that too. But again, I feel like that was what are you going to do? He does have some name recognition. He is a star, recently departing from NXT. He has value from the NWA, again, playing an important role prior to his departure. So, but I just really feel like, man, you had the Pope. Well, maybe the Pope wasn't available. Maybe the Pope is not ready to wrestle. But gosh, I kind of felt like he should have been a part of this. And I don't know what's going on, but as far as I heard, I hadn't heard anything of the Pope being at the tapings. So maybe it's not. Again, I just don't know. Let's see some more of the comments. The Great Hisa says, Aldis would be too obvious. Latimer, I would want more buildup for. In the story, Shaw is too soon, so I guess Trevor was okay. That's kind of how I saw it, except for I was a lot more excited about Trevor winning the title, because the entire time Trevor was your world's heavyweight champion, it almost felt like the man was neutered. It almost felt like everything exciting and fun about Trevor Murdoch was stripped from him. He wasn't that badass that he could be. He wasn't invoking that namesake in the Murdoch dynasty of like a Dirty Dick Murdoch. The way you watch Trevor Murdoch wrestle in the NWA currently is more akin to some of those bruisers from the 80s like Stan Hansen. And I would much rather see a Stan Hansen inspired Trevor Murdoch than whatever he was in his world title reign. So we're going to see a heel Trevor Murdoch as world champion, and I can't wait to see what that means. I want to see him go out there and beat people up, and not be the showman and not be the out there kissing babies, but really getting out there and getting dirty and doing things that are questionable, questionable tactics, but whatever it takes to win, because that's, at the end of the day, the 10 pounds of gold is the most precious prize in pro wrestling. Nice alliteration there. As he is your world's heavyweight championship, Trevor Murdoch should do everything quite possible in his hands to keep that title. And he knows what happens when you lose that belt. The entire world forgets about you like that. Overnight, Trevor Murdoch was forgotten. Hell, the 3 count had only been a few minutes in celebration before Nick Aldis ran out to make his challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. Nobody more than Trevor Murdoch knows how important that title is. And this is the world champion we're going to get. The guy who's angry, the guy who's mad, the guy who will do anything to keep that title. Yeah, I think this is going to be good for the NWA. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for us as the fans. So more of your guys' comments. I see Dave Scooby says that they're trying to build up more subs for Fight on both Fight and YouTube tonight only. I mean, I get that. Look, the YouTube, as a verified content creator and a monetized platform on YouTube, I can guarantee you that the money that you make on YouTube, at least in my experience, isn't as much as you think it is. You know, when you're one of these like prodigy kid YouTubers or one of these really cool social media influencers, you know, when they have millions and millions of views, I get why they make millions and millions of dollars. The NWA is getting about 80,000 views per video. And, you know, I know the math doesn't exactly correlate, but, you know, you're basically getting like I was looking at WWE videos and kind of conferring based on my numbers and their numbers, like an $800,000 video, or excuse me, an 800,000 viewed video, 800,000 views on a video is roughly worth about $800. Now that's, you know, nothing to sneeze at, of course, but you know, that's not a ton of money. I think they make a lot more money, I believe, with the Fight deal and the reoccurring investment when you subscribe for the entire year. You know, the people who are subscribed are getting that value, but the NWA has also got that money now, and they're able to do things to grow the brand now. So I think that's a much better solution for them. But, you know, I don't think they're going to say no to any more YouTube subscribers, and anything they can earn from that obviously goes to the bottom line. So we'll see. Wrestling with MMA says, I just checked Fight and it's available to watch on there as well. So yeah, a little confusing. I mean, I was preparing to watch it on Fight, and yeah, we'll see. Heeb says on paper, oops, lost your comment there, Heebs. On paper, Sam Shaw didn't make sense, but Billy did let the crowd decide things, and that makes up for it. Of course it does. You know, the fans spoke. I don't think that's how I would like to run my wrestling promotion, but this isn't my wrestling promotion. This is Billy Corgan's, and he's going to do what Billy Corgan thinks is best for his business. And that's, you know, getting the fans engaged, getting the fans involved, I think is great. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Sam Shaw was invited to be a part of it. Pro Wrestling Zone said he didn't expect it to be Murdoch. By the way, what's up, Rick? How are you, brother? Yeah, I mean, going into the whole situation, I mean, we kind of thought about it just because he had the rematch clause. I mean, hell, in my wildest dreams, I was thinking it would be someone like Bully Ray using Velvet's championship buying, because remember, she has the last one. She has the last golden ticket. So who knows what's going to happen next, but we'll see. Bobby Petito says he'd like to see Camille versus Max the Impaler for the Women's World Championship, for the Burke even. Yeah, I mean, Max the Impaler has had that one match in the NWA, and I would love to see more from them. But as of right now, I mean, there's a whole list of ladies who I think would make great opponents for Camille, the least of which is the former women's tag team champion, former women's world champion, and Allison Kay. I think, you know, now that the burden of being a tag team champion has been relieved from her, she could always come back and challenge for the Burke. And I think out of all the women on the roster, that is the most unique matchup and the most breath of fresh air. Some of these matches we've already had multiple times. So seeing Camille and Allison Kay in the ring against each other one-on-one, that would be a lot of fun. At least that's my opinion. Lamb says maybe to maintain some momentum due to the pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, I heard that the pay-per-view did very well. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm still viewing the pay-per-vieiew. This was a very busy weekend for your boy Jay Cal in all the best ways, but I just did not have time to sit down and watch the entire pay-per-view. I'm probably about a third of the way into it, so I definitely will be checking that out before Thursday. But yeah, I'm very excited from what I've seen. You know, seeing Pretty and Power win the tag titles, Ella Envy really bringing out the sinister side of one Kenzie Page. I definitely have said before that Kenzie Page is kind of an anomaly when she wrestles. When she teams with Ella Envy, she seems to be more of a heel, but when she wrestles as a singles, she tends to wrestle as a face. So, there's an interesting dichotomy there. And who's to say that the Hex don't come back and win those tag titles? There's no rule saying that they don't get a rematch. And the women's division isn't that great to begin with when it comes to tag team wrestling, unless we see some more matches, some more groups, some more teams put together during the next couple of weeks of television taping. Who knows where Hex will be or Pretty and Power will be for the next pay-per-view. Want to say what's up to NWA Gold Tim, our pal. He is one of the Alliance guys. What's going on, my bro, my buddy? Jeremy says, makes sense for the future. Jeremy also is one of our Alliance guys, too. Willie says, what's up, NWA? And Jake, what is up, Willie? I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday afternoon, evening, depending on where you're at. Media M5 said, told you a few weeks ago, Trevor needs that title back and have him interject if Aldis wins it with the rematch. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it's not where I was thinking that they would go, but I think it was the best damn move they could make. And I really like Trevor Murdoch, and I'm glad that he didn't just get that one run with the belt. I don't know what the plans are for him at this point. We don't know how long Matt Cardona will be away from the NWA. We don't know if Matt Cardona will return to the NWA. I mean, there's reports out there now saying that he wouldn't mind coming back to the WWE. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to predict or read the tea leaves of the NWA when you've got guys who have options, right? I mean, look, with all due respect to Trevor Murdoch, I don't believe AEW will be on the phone calling him for a title match. I don't believe you're going to see guys like Sam Shaw get picked up by AEW. Now, I think Sam Shaw is a great talent. I think Trevor Murdoch is perfect for the NWA, but some of these guys aren't going to have those same opportunities, but some guys are. Would anyone be shocked tomorrow if Nick Aldis ended up in AEW? Or on Impact? Just wondering. Media says, I'm just happy Aldis didn't get it. I agree with you, Media. Not because I have any issue with Nick Aldis. It's been a year since he's been champion, right? Well, almost a year. He lost the title at the 73rd anniversary show, which I believe was like in August, right? So he's been without the title for almost an entire calendar year, but he's already challenged for the title twice. I would have much more appreciated and enjoyed a lengthy British Invasion tag team. And I'd much rather see Aldis and Williams win those NWA World Tag Team titles and win the Crockett Cup and just leave Aldis out of the world title picture completely. Now, that's obviously not going to happen as it stands because you got Harry Smith with Doug Williams as the Commonwealth Connection, who they did not win the Crockett Cup. They came in second place, but they are your new NWA World Tag Team Champions. And I'm good with that too. But I just feel like if you would have given Aldis a break from the title when he inevitably wins it again, and he will win that championship again, it'll be so much more nicer if it comes as a shock, if it comes as a surprise. We were all pretty much expecting Aldis to walk out as champion at Alwayz Ready. So for him not to, I think is a very good thing. Let's see. More comments. We'll get to all of them. I promise you guys. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up. My screen jumped down too far. The mayor says this pay-per-view was far superior from the Crockett Cup. No more flat match finishes out of nowhere, and everything made sense. Taya Valkyrie and Markova had some real lack of respect for your opponent in there. I kind of felt that, because that was the match I just was watching before this started. I really felt like maybe that match didn't have a lot of good chemistry. I felt like a couple of moves just fell really flat, and I didn't finish the match, but I felt like, some people were saying that maybe Thunder Rosa was sandbagging Marina Sharif in AEW. I kind of felt like there might have been something going on here, whether Markova or Taya just didn't really want to do business. I didn't see the end of the match. I'll let you know what I think about it on Thursday, but Yeah, it just didn't feel like they really had a good chemistry there. Willie Bowen says Laredo Kid should be a great challenger for Homicide's World Junior Heavyweight Championship. I mean, Homicide defended that title twice at Crockett Cup, and that's something that's pretty unbelievable because his straight up match with PJ Hawk was great. Really good match, very strong match, very great outing by PJ Hawks that very much echoes the sentiment of sometimes you don't go over, but you still get over. I really feel like PJ Hawks is blossoming into something very special, and I hope the NWA continues to be that place for him and nurture that growth because, man, that kid's going to be great if he just keeps to it, right? But then immediately following that match, there's the attack by the Fixers that brings out the Mortons and all kinds of shenanigans and chicanery. And then you get Homicide versus Colby Carino Part 2. And even after all that, Colby Carino, who did everything he could to take that title off of Homicide, falls just a little short. Homicide is victorious yet again. And he's running out of opponents. I mean, he's beat Colby Carino now twice cleanly, and he's beaten pretty much every junior heavyweight worth their weight in the NWA. It's time to start bringing in some guys. So if you're talking about Laredo Kid, or you're talking about somebody like Danny Limelight, or Carl Fredericks, or TJ Perkins, I mean, I'm all for it. I don't care who it is. Quite honestly, I would love to see Homicide take on former tag team partner, the New Age Punisher, B-Boy. But, I don't know if that's in the cards either. And who knows? This might all run down to a Gags the Gimp versus the Homicide match for the next pay-per-view. Because if you're not aware, Gags the Gimp is on a bit of a winning streak. Ben says Instagram Reels boil down to about 10 cents every 1,000 views. That's pretty dope right there. That's some insider info, guys. The Kayfabe Soup has a great channel on Instagram. If you guys aren't following it, I highly recommend you do. Ben does a great job over there. A lot of fun stuff. Inspired me to try to make some more funnier memes or funnier reels over there. Check that out if you're on Instagram. Media says a couple of comments on the same thing. Maybe due to its season premiere, they're airing it. Many are hoping it isn't pay-per-view coverage as people paid for it 3 days ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, look, we've got a couple of matches we'll get to momentarily. You're going to hear some victory speeches. Trevor Murdoch's going to come out there and talk about why he's the new world champion. You're going to hear Matt Cardona talk about why he's not world champion. I'm sure you're going to hear something from Chelsea Green about her next opportunity at Camille. I'm sure you're going to hear Bully Ray, the master of ceremonies, will be talking on this show as well. So I'm sure you're going to see a lot of interesting things happen. The only two reported matches, as it were, right now are I have them here. We know we're going to have Taya Valkyrie versus Taryn Terrell, and we know we're supposed to have a tag team match featuring the returning Strictly Business versus the Cardonas. We'll talk more about that momentarily, but I just think that there are some fresh matches. It won't just be them talking about the pay-per-view. Media M5 also says that the good pay-per-view lineup, in my view, will make people want to spend the $50 for the NWA pass on Fight. So hopefully they get more subs. I mean, I don't understand how they can't at this point. If you are interested in the NWA enough to order one pay-per-view, I mean, it's just a simple math. Like, just pay for the year, right? $50 for the year, and then you get all the pay-per-views for free. If you care enough to buy one pay-per-view, I don't know why you wouldn't just pay for the whole thing. $25 for a pay-per-view or $50 to get everything. It seems like it's a no-brainer. More comments. Willie Bowen says there's a rumor that Tyrus may have bankrupt Domino's Pizza. I mean, manned up on Alwayz Ready. He beat Mims, and that's 6 matches. So his next title defense will be the deciding factor of whether he ever gets a shot at Trevor Murdoch or the 10 pounds of gold. But considering that they're relatives, considering that they're second cousins, maybe they're just going to choose to dominate the NWA. Who knows? Wrestling with MMA says he's already put Golden Corral and Country Buffet out of business. Man, it tires, man. He just keeps eating everyone out of house and home. He says a couple important things I noticed at the main event. Billy telling Cardona, "I got you," and Bully shaking Murdoch's hand while eyeing the 10 pounds of gold. I'll have to look for those both later. Like I said, I haven't finished the pay-per-view. Samar, All Retro Cave, says he definitely enjoyed the pay-per-view. Samar, I'm just assuming you're a guy. If you're a girl, please correct me. Ben says the pay-per-view was so long, it took me 4 tries. I started to watch a little bit yesterday and did not get very far into it, and then was able to watch a little bit today too. I'll probably be spending most of Thursday watching it before our Alliance Guys podcast. Media M5 says the pay-per-view had a good lineup in my view. It makes people want to spend the $50 for the pass. Oh yeah, we just said that. Sorry. Yeah, I agree. I really think like the pay-per-views I think are where the NWA is getting it right. Even the Crockett Cup, I know there's a few flat finishes and stuff, but more than the weekly television show, I really feel like the pay-per-views are super enjoyable, and you don't even have to really follow the shows to get into the pay-per-view. You just turn it on and watch what happens. Of course, you get more of the backstory if you're watching every week, but it's almost like you don't need it. Bobby Petito says, I'd like to see Pretty Empowered Kenzie Page and Ella Envy versus the Renegade Twins, Robin Renegade and Charlotte Renegade. Yeah, I know that the Renegade Twins recently lost the Mission Pro Tag titles. Maybe they are on the move. I don't know. I wasn't there on Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, so I don't know what happened at any of the TV tapings. In fact, I wasn't there for any of it. I'm still trying to get caught up. Sean Mega says, did you go to the Dodger games this weekend? Sean, I don't go to Dodger games, my friend. I go to Angel games if I go to any games. And I didn't go there either. I actually went, not that you guys care, but because Sean asked, I spent Saturday evening at a Chris Stapleton concert. It was a great experience. If you guys are into country music, Chris Stapleton is your dude. If you're just flirting with the idea of country music, Chris Stapleton is your dude. And if you just like the old Southern rock, kind of like akin to like the Lynyrd Skynyrd, Chris Stapleton is your dude. Great music, great show, great live performance. If you like live music, if you ever get the opportunity, highly recommend it. Michael says, did you watch the pre-show? I said, I watched a little bit of it on the way to the concert, but no, I didn't get to see much of it at all. Media M5 says, yes, I enjoyed the 4-way match itself, not just the result. Well, that's good to know. I'm looking forward to watching it. Sean Mega says, is Latimer and Adonis back together for good? I kind of started thinking something, and this is just Jake Howe's stupid brain. I think Tommy Dreamer calls it a wrestling brain or a wrestling fan brain. We'll just call it stupid brain over here. But I kept thinking, what if Trevor Murdoch, right? Because, Adonis has kind of aligned himself with the Commonwealth Connection, being that Doug Williams is like a brother to him and Harry Smith is just along for the ride. But what if Trevor Murdoch is like, hey, I need some friends? What if Trevor Murdoch is the one behind the reformation of Strictly Business? Because then you would have like a couple of trios that are already established in the NWA, because you would have the Cardonas, which is a healthy Matt plus VSK and Mike Knox on one side. Then you would have this new Strictly Business. This is just Jason's stupid brain here. You would have Strictly Business with Trevor Murdoch. You could have you could still have the end with Jack Stain. You could still have Homicide with La Rebellion, right? You could still have the Fixers with Colby Corino. You still have the Ill Begotten, and you still have also the faithfully whatever Sinister Ministers group is, and Idolmania Sports Management. I mean, I think there's a lot of trios there, and I think that would be an interesting concept if the NWA were to go forward with that. Media M5 says, for myself, I hope he doesn't sign. For him, I hope WWE signs Cardona and agree about Murdoch, less he changes his persona. I think if we get this Trevor Murdoch that we have seen on TV for the past few months since he lost the title, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Willie Bowen says Bobby, Rosemary, and Jessica Havoc or Ruby Rays and Vipers could be great challengers for the Women's World Tag Team Championship. I really like Ruby Rays, but I can tell you right now, it's just not in the cards between her and the NWA. You got to remember, she's still with the Women of Wrestling, and she's under contract. So I don't think you'll see her pop up in the NWA. But I wouldn't be surprised if when contracts expire or things change, I think she'd be a welcomed addition to the roster. Again, there's not a lot of women that look like Rays in the NWA, just like there isn't a lot of women that look like Camille in the NWA. So I think the more you have that diversity in the women's division, the better that division gets. Ben says, I think there's a good chance we see Aldis versus Murdoch Volume 33 at Ric Flair's last match pay-per-view. Well, I mean, shit, dude. And I don't mean to outwardly cuss on the podcast. I don't normally – I try to keep it somewhat clean. If you're going to do Murdoch versus Pierce again, I'd much rather be at Flair's retirement show than the 74th anniversary show. I'd hate to see a rematch of that match from a year ago. But it would be great to see some sort of NWA involvement on that Ric Flair, Jim Crockett Promotions card. I know this is all just kind of like a way to say goodbye to Flair. But we all know he's not retiring. He'll have the match and then he'll have another one. And then maybe someone in Japan will pay him to go wrestle like Dory Funk Jr. or something like that. I don't think the guy's going to ever hang it up. I think he will wrestle till the day he dies. Bobby Badillo says, I'd like to see more of Caprice Coleman and Rhett Titus in the NWA. I mean, of course, both those guys would be very welcomed additions to the roster. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Caprice. We're not really sure how the Ring of Honor situation will affect Caprice Coleman, if he's still going to be commentating for them when they do return full-time. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. Media M5 says, same here. Agree on the aspect of Aldis and Williams in a tag, but I think the NWA has too much stock in Aldis. Yeah, I mean, and I get that too. But I think if you keep forcing Aldis down people's throats, there's going to be resentment. Like, I'm one of the few that have openly admitted, like, I can't take another Aldis main event run right now. I would gladly accept that in a couple of weeks, couple of months. Well, after the Crockett cut, or excuse me, after the anniversary show, I think it'd be a great time to reintroduce him into the title picture. And I think if they would have followed that formula and kept him away from that title, you could still main event shows as a tag team, and he could still be a draw as a tag team. I just feel like they missed the boat. Willie Bowen says, what if Aldis challenged Dane for the heavyweight championship, the national championship? That would be great. Again, let's put him in a different path than the 10 pounds of gold. There's nothing wrong with holding that national championship. Jack Dane has proven that you can be a world champion and still go after those national titles or the North American title. I know that's not a part of this current NWA direction, but there's nothing wrong with going after these titles after you've already got to the hilltop. Remember, if we're talking about wrestling as a storyline based performance, the guy who holds the biggest prize is the guy that gets paid the most, right? Like, the world champion should be the richest dude on the roster because he's getting paid more. But let's not forget that your national champion is the next biggest champion on the show. He's getting a decent paycheck. And you look at Jack Dane rolling out with fur coats and fur coat vests, and of course he's making money because he's your national champion. So it wouldn't surprise me at all, and I think it would be good for to grow the credibility of the national championship if Aldis did want to go after that title. The mayor says William Patrick Corgan milked every moment he could out of that Cardona title reign, literally every single last moment he could get out of it. Yeah, I mean, but that's what you do when you have a guy like Cardona. They did the same thing with Cody. They got as much out of Cody's month and a half reign as they could because it drove business to the NWA. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cardona comes back. I don't know what the situation is. And again, if he ends up getting locked up with AEW, WWE, of course he won't be back. But if he's still maintaining that Impact deal and working on the indies, then by all means, he's going to make sense for the NWA. Let's see. Pro Wrestling Zone said Homicide killed it this weekend. 2 great matches that night. Yeah, I mean, I thought Homicide is definitely becoming one of the MVPs of the NWA. I just really feel like he is that guy. He's 45 years old. He's been around the block. He's not a young man by any stretch of the imagination, but he's still going out there and putting on great matches. And you have to tip your hat to that dude, because he's doing the damn thing. And I don't know if there's anyone in the NWA that could do it better. Bobby Petito says he wants to see Homicide versus Jay Spade or Darius Lockhart for the World Junior Heavyweight title. I'm all right with that. Lamb says, who wouldn't love to see Ricky Morton versus Homicide? Lamb, sometimes I think you type things just to make me laugh or to get me angry. Sean Mega says, maybe Will All Day versus Homicide. Okay, now you're talking. That's something that's different. It's something that hasn't been approached yet. Will All Day is great. I haven't really watched a lot of him from the reality of wrestling, but I did watch him very closely when he was part of the United Wrestling Network, whether it be the Primetime Live series or the shows that he taped for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I feel very good about Will All Day. I don't know if that's the guy that will be there to take the title off of Homicide or even get an opportunity to wrestle him. Media M5 says, I can't stand gags. Look, nobody can stand gags. I don't know who that appeals to. The fans in Knoxville liked it, or at least not Knoxville, in Oak Grove, Kentucky liked it. They popped for him. They popped huge for him. Samar, I'm not sure who you're saying no to, but there's a lot of things that I say no to on a daily basis. Willie Bone says, hooray, Coward Cardona isn't the world's heavyweight champion anymore. Not our problem. I see Chris is going to say something on here. He's going to be a little upset, but we'll get to it. Let's see. Gosh, the screen jumped again. Let's see. I've seen some of the comments and I'm trying to get back on order, so hold on with me. He says, as much as I want to be mad that Homicide is burying the division, it's very important to make that first title run strong, and Homicide deserves all the roses. Yeah, I mean, the thing is he's not going in there and running, rickshaw over everyone. He's just beating everyone. There's a difference. He's not – I don't feel like he's burying anybody, because I feel like a couple of times Colby could have walked out of that match as a winner, both last night or Saturday night and the last time they wrestled at Power Trip. So for him to I'm not shocked that he's winning, and I don't feel like he's hurting the division. I mean, PJ could come and wrestle him next week, and we could have a different outcome. Chris says, can we keep Aldis away from the NWA title? Sheesh. I'm with you, Big Chris Dog. You know that. Michael Manning says, Steven's swan song is hilarious. I don't know what's going on with Stevens. I mean, you see him, and he looks like he's in the best shape of his life, and yet he's talking about walking away from the ring. I wouldn't walk away from the opportunities that could be presented to himself, but maybe the opportunities aren't there. Maybe he's just getting jacked because he's on the heels. I don't know. BDMM5 says, okay, I guess SB is back together. Yeah, very strange. All of a sudden, they're just teaming again, and that's after Latimer talked shit about Adonis, and Adonis was like, I don't care, which is fine. I mean, look, boys sometimes talk mess about each other. You guys have all done it. You've all talked shit about your best friends, and sometimes it happens. It's fine. It's okay. No one gets their hearts broken over that. Chris says Willie B. Cardona was the only reason wrestling media talked about the NWA. I don't agree with you on that one, Chris. I don't. I did see, look, when Trevor Murdoch won the title at the 73rd, he was on Busted Open. We had the NWA get some coverage from various sources outside of your traditional, PW Insider or stuff like that. But I won't disagree with you that Cardona was a bit of a lightning rod. He was getting some attention for the NWA. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Cardona did some good things for the NWA as a world champion. Is he going to go down as one of the greatest? Hell no, not even close. But if he comes back to the NWA when he's healthy and continues to help grow the brand, then that could definitely change. Wrestling with MMA says that could be a very good match if done right, which could lead to Kerry versus Homicide, meaning Ricky versus Homicide. Bobby Petito says, I'd like to see Jack Stane versus Shane Taylor one day for the national championship. Yeah, I mean, look, Shane Taylor, as far as I know, is a free agent right now, and him and Jax are two big bulls. That would certainly be a hoss fight, and I'm here for it. Lamb says, I see Murdoch versus Tyre soon, something that would be an actual new matchup. It would be 100% a new matchup, and I do think that I don't think we're going to see it just because, but I think it would be. Media M5 says, check out the pre-show because it was good too. I'll check it out. I certainly will. Chris says, funny, you're all happy Cardona is out. Guess you like the NWA being in obscurity. Chris, they just brought Bully Ray in, man. I mean, it's not obscurity. And I don't think Cardona for sure is gone either. All right, Samar, so we're good. We're good, bro. Willie says, Chris, why back a coward instead of a fighting champion? Chris says, when was Aldis a fighting champion? You guys are awesome. You're funny. Media M5 says, Jay, I wish Fight TV had their old affiliate term going, as I'm sure yourself and I would definitely be pimping it out for the NWA to get subs. Yeah, you know, I mean, yes, I would love to make money off the NWA. I would love to see people subscribe to the channel. Like, look, first and foremost, and I know if you guys tune in on Thursday nights, we can be extremely critical of the show, but we have an affinity for the brand. And even though sometimes we disagree with what Billy Corgan has done with the brand, we still want him to succeed. We still want the NWA to succeed. This show isn't about either one of the pre-party or the Alliance Guys podcast is not here to personally pray for the NWA to suck. We don't want the show to suck. We want it to be great. We want our passion in the NWA to be rewarded by great pro wrestling. And sometimes we get that, but not all the time. And we're just being honest. If the NWA did have that deal with Fight, and Fight did have their affiliate program, I certainly would be putting out, hey, subscribe and, get your first episode free or whatever it is. But yeah, I love it. Rick says, yeah, Stapleton is awesome. Yeah, man. Oh, God. Love that show. Love that show. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but my wife and I really enjoy his work. When I was in Nashville for the 70th anniversary, I remember being at one of the rooftop bars there and hearing Tennessee Whiskey being played in front of me by, an unknown artist. And then across the way, as soon as our singer stopped, you could hear someone else playing Tennessee Whiskey. Very popular song, good song. And if you guys ever get the opportunity, great musician. Medium 5 says Jack Dane comes out, but no Chris Silvio. They have no need to have Silvio out there. See, that's another I don't understand what they're doing with Chris Silvio. I wouldn't mind him being his full-time manager. I don't need him to be his attorney. That's kind of corny. But, this is the NWA, so they don't shy away from the corn. But they did kind of make it clear early on that, at least on the NWA USA programming, you have to be an actual licensed manager to be a part of the show, to be on the floor during the wrestling events. So I get why Silvio hasn't been out there for that. I just don't really know what they're doing with him. And Chris Silvio he's a good hand. I've seen him around. His promos are good. I'd just make him a manager. He doesn't need to be an attorney. Jeremy's with me on the trio idea. That's cool. Bobby Batista says, I'd like to see Joe Alonzo wrestle in the NWA Junior Heavyweight division. Yeah, I mean, he had a great breakthrough match with Scion a few weeks ago. Let's see. Willie says, Aldis wrestled Brian Pillman Jr., Brian Cage, Tommy Dreamer, Tim Storm, James Storm, Willie Mack, Colt Boom Boom Cabana in China. And that's way more than Matt Cardona wrestled. I mean, if you look at the two, there's definitely a divide when you look at Nick Aldis in his first title reign and his second title reign. And I know this is going to get heat, but whatever. His first title reign was the thing that's a world's heavyweight champion. His first reign from December 9th, 2017 till All In 2018 was the thing of legend. Being able to defend the world's heavyweight championship in the UK, in China, in Australia, of course in the United States, on television like Hollywood, on House of Hardcore. Aldis did a lot for that 10 pounds of gold in his first run. Second run, I'll be honest, man, not impressed at all. His title defenses dropped significantly. His feuds, he appeared in Ring of Honor, which was good, gave some visibility to the brand, but really wasn't a catalyst for the NWA as much. winning the title back from Cody, defending a few times in the UK, having a few defenses, leading up to Power. It was very forgettable. And once Power started, his title defenses outside of the NWA diminished severely, and to the point where when COVID happened, like he basically wasn't wrestling. That's why they're always, in my eyes, being asterisks next to that, 1,000+ day reign as champion, because he wasn't even really competing. And it wasn't like the wrestling had shut down. He just wasn't wrestling. I think it was the last time we did the Alliance Guys podcast, we made the note that 1 year as champion, Camille has had 14 title defenses. That didn't include Saturday's Alwayz Ready. So she had 14 title defenses in 1 year. And the combined title defenses between Trevor Murdoch, Matt Cardona, and Nick Aldis before Alwayz Ready was like 12. Think about that. 12. Not the same window. 12. I don't know. Heeb says, depending on Cardona's recovery, a Murdoch versus Cardona or Bully Ray at NWA 74 in St. Louis sounds like a hot main event. Again, I'm not against it. I think that would make a lot of sense. Hell, even if it's just Trevor versus Bully, right? He is an outsider, and we keep saying that we can't just keep giving outsiders a shot, but I'm not against that. No cow curse? I'm not sure what you mean on that one. Well, I'll wait for your answer later. Willie says Jax Dane versus Trevor would be a great match. I know Jax wants a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. I know he does. And the fact that he kept the title Saturday at Alwayz Ready means that the NWA is really kind of putting some faith into Jax Dane, and the dude delivers. So it's a win-win for the fans, right? He delivers on those promos. He's fucking great. Pardon my French. Jax Dane is one of the best parts about the NWA, and the fact that he comes out there every week, styling, profiling, talking about how great he is. Former world champion, former tag champion, former North American champion, 2-time national champion. Like, nobody has his pedigree in the NWA. There's no one that can hold his jockstrap at the current moment. Let's see. Wrestling with MMA says, I'd be fine if Aldis never went for the 10 pounds ever again. Oh, see, that's a stiff punch right there, Jeremy. I mean, I'm okay with him coming back for a title reign, but yeah, I would be okay with him taking a break. Dave Scooby says, glad to see Thom getting a push finally. Like, yeah, let's see more, though, right? Because a one win isn't a push. Let's see what he does. I mean, I know you were there at Knocks Out, so you might have seen or heard more than what we have. But, yeah, I want to see Thom finally get a push. I would love to see Thom be the one to defeat Tyrus for the TV title, right? Like, that would be – see, now that would be some good TV, because you'd be really pushing a face turn on Latimer, and then Latimer could face like the entire roster of Idol Mania Sports Management, including Scion, including Jordan Clearwater, Black Cheese, Marche Rocket. I mean, the endless amount of talent that the Idol Mania Sports Management has could literally be the crux that puts Thom Latimer in the 10 pounds of gold discussion. And he's a good dude, so it's like, time to reward his hard work and dedication to the NWA. Media M5 says the announcing wasn't bad, but Joe Galli sounding like Jim Ross. But I was sad when I seen Velvet back in her humdrum on this. You're not the only one that's been talking about Velvet in the booth. My biggest problem with Joe Galli is right off the bat, he said that it was Aaron Stevens that took the national title off of Trevor Murdoch, and that just wasn't true. That's backwards. He had it reversed, because famously Trevor Murdoch took that national title on Primetime Live with the United Wrestling Network, went on to appear at the first NWA pay-per-view wrestling Chris Adonis, beat Chris Adonis, and then getting injured from Nick Aldis and the attack from Strictly Business, and wrestling Adonis injured is how Adonis won the title and what took the belt off of Trevor Murdoch. I think you screwed the pooch on that one, Joe. And I still love you, buddy, but that one made me cringe. Ben says, I think Aldous will be playing with his buddies this season and potentially work Sam Shaw and Latimer the whole season. Cool with that too. No problem with that at all. Again, Aldous has already done what he needed to do to make the NWA as great as it has been. I don't see him having another run will push the NWA to the next level. I'm not saying he can't be that guy, but I'm saying right now he shouldn't be that guy. I mean, Elijah Burke, the Pope, would be a perfect addition to that world title contendership. And there is kind of a bit of a storyline in that they're friends and hadn't been friends in a while, Trevor and the Pope. And, if the Pope were to win that 10 pounds of gold, it'd be the first time in the history of the NWA since Ron the Truth Killings over 20 years ago won the 10 pounds of gold. So, I mean, it's time, man. It'd be good for the NWA to have a black man hold the 10 pounds of gold. That's just my thoughts. Bobby Petito wants to see MJ Jenkins wrestle again. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with all you guys' comments. You're just on it today. Good Lord. I love you guys. Let's see. Dave Scooby said, would love to see Cardona do an Iron Mike Sharper. Yes, absolutely he should. Yes. Lamb says, isn't it funny how B-Boy and Homicide have their like second or third career run? Yeah, man. I mean, props to what B-Boy has been doing out in Southern California with Level Up Pro Wrestling and some of the matches that he's been having as of late. That guy is on another world. And I remember thinking that someday, like, a few years ago, I spoke to him about, his legacy and his, he was so like downtrodden, thought that he needed to prove more why he is such a good wrestler, but he is good. I love B-Boy. I'd like to see more of him. And like I said, him and Homicide would tear the house down. Chris Sherman says, please no more Nikki James in the main event for a while. I agree. I do. Matthew Underwood says, Kerry versus Colby is the junior heavyweight feud waiting to happen. And when that happens, it's going to blow your mind because Colby's going to become the babyface and Kerry's going to be such a shit-eating, grinning heel. It's going to be great. I've been cussing a lot today. I'm sorry, guys. I don't normally cuss this much. Very excited, I guess. Willie Bone wants Jordan Cruz to be a part of the NWA junior heavyweight division. Samar says no more gags. Lamb says walking with Sandow. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance he might be in the WWE. I know a lot of people are expecting him to be the Elias for Ezekiel. And I don't keep up with WWE enough to know what's going on, but I'll take your word for it. Lamb says, why is Wrestler X was on Busted Open such a big deal for so many fans? It's not so much that they are certain wrestlers on Busted Open. It's that they're getting notoriety. And Busted Open is a very big podcast / XM radio show. It's one of the bigger shows on their sports broadcast side of the station. So, I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not enough to make, or break what they're doing. The NWA really should focus on just the people who are going to drive numbers, who is going to put a butt in a seat. And that's what they need to focus their energy on. If it's not Matt Cardona, then find the guy that it's going to be. If it is Matt Cardona, then so be it. But that's what they should be doing right now, is either finding that big name star that bring in more fans to the shows, or hire somebody or build somebody on the roster to do it. Now, we got about 10 minutes before showtime, so I'm going to try to get through these as quick as I can. Matt Underwood says, is Cardona done with the NWA? We just don't know. Hopefully not. Paladin is in the house. What's up, Paladin? Media M5 wants to see Taylor versus Dane. Jumping around here. Chris says, Jay, how do you feel about the territories in the NWA? Tried and True, Outlaw, Wildcat. I think this could work very well for the NWA if they wanted to. I mean, look, Tried and True is already running events in Oak Grove, Kentucky. If they did a bi-monthly show there, 1 month being an NWA versus Tried and True show and one show being a Tried and True show, I think that'd be beneficial for both Tried and True and the NWA. You've got Wildcat doing something where a lot of the NWA talent showing up there. That's great. Outlaws doing the same thing where they're bringing in Colby Carino, and they're bringing in, Trevor Murdoch was brought onto one of their shows. Homicide's there. These are all good things. And I feel like if they did that more it would be beneficial to the NWA in multiple ways. Number one, what did we talk about earlier about Nick Aldis? He had zero title defenses. Not zero. Had very few title defenses outside of the NWA once Power kicked off. But could you imagine if he was doing, one or two title defenses, the pay-per-view, and then he would do a title defense in Wildcat. Then he'd do a title defense in Tried and True, or do a title defense in Outlaw. And then maybe title defenses in at least if we're talking about Aldis, a title defense in Poland or the UK. I mean, that would be awesome, man, because then you're having the champion defend that title 5 times, 5 times in 5 months. That's all that's all we're asking for, is some consistent title defenses. Bobby said, who's the next challenger for Tyrus? And I don't know who. Honestly, I don't know. It seems like the cupboard is a little bare there. Chris says, also Marquez said that NWA could have had the Turner deal. The NWA had a deal with Turner, but it wasn't for TBS or TNT. It was with their digital content platform, but then that didn't materialize. And that was long before AEW. That was during, Dave Lagana was still with the National Wrestling Alliance back then. Media says Silvio's okay talent. Silvio is an agent and floor director. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what he does. Willie Bowen says Bobby Tyrus next match is a whole slab of barbecue ribs. I don't want to see that. Medium M5 says Aldis title run was Tharp era. The second run was like Global Force. No. Everything for Aldis was the Billy Corgan era. So like you could give Tim Storm credit for the Tharp era. Tim Storm was the last champion of the Tharp era. So when he won the title, I think it was like in 2016, he was able to take the title to Japan. He had a couple of title defenses in the NWA territories. And then when the announcement was finally made, the NWA ownership changed hands. Most of Tim Storm's title defenses at that point were either in Hollywood or promotions that were previously associated with the NWA. But yeah, that was all. Nick Aldis's first run as champion was still part of the Lightning One era and the relationship that Billy Corgan had with both David Marquez out in Hollywood and with the AEW crowd, or the Ring of Honor, I should say, with those guys like the Young Bucks and Cody and all that stuff. Whew, you guys are getting me out of breath. Hey, Lou, thanks for checking in. I appreciate you just stopping by saying hi. The mayor says, was Cardona's injury a sign that giving one wrestler his own pay-per-view is a bad idea? Being known as always ready and not being ready for your own show is some type of Godsmack. It sure is, man. That's the biggest set of irony, right? Because his gimmick literally is always ready, except for when they've named the pay-per-view that. Lamb says, having new big names come in and competing for world titles reminds me of a lot of the TNA 2002-2006 days. I mean, that is. You said you don't, or try not to curse. So I said, oh, okay, I got you. Thank you, media. I appreciate it. Damn, you guys are all. Oh, hey, I saw something here. Let me read what this says, and then I'll move back to what it is. J-Cal, NWA saying the start time is 3:15 now, so we get a few more minutes. 6:15 start time, Jay. I'm on their page now. They changed it. Jay was making reference to how popular it was. Global failed. Oh, okay, I got you, media. I got you. Cool. So we could talk then for a little bit more. Good, because I'm trying to get to all your guys' comments. Jeremy says, I mean, if they want to put it on Aldis and take it off on the next night, okay, but I'm fine not seeing him hold it for an extended amount of time at all. I think that there's still some story to be told with Aldis as your world's heavyweight champion. I don't think now's the time to do it. I think now's the time to build somebody to make it credible when Aldis does inevitably win the title again, that you make it significant by having him beat another homegrown NWA name. And I know most of these guys aren't homegrown, but let's say Pori Hemplo, that Jax Dane becomes your world's heavyweight champion. The matchup between Jax Dane and Nick Aldis could be a huge, huge victory for the NWA. You're not going to see that match anywhere else, just the National Wrestling Alliance. I'm not saying that's like, it has to be that match. I'm just saying that that's the kind of thing that I think they should be shooting for. The mayor says Tyrus needs his toughest challenge for the defense, number 7, and loses. I'm sure that's what's going to happen, but like, again, that's why I kind of like the idea of Latimer. And this just popped into my head because Latimer is a guy who has been around for a while, who hasn't really had much opportunity as a singles competitor. You know, I see that they're putting him in a tag team tonight. Whatever with that. I want to see what he's going to do after tonight. I want to see, you know, Camille's nagging at him, right? Oh, my baby needs to be world's champion. Yeah, your baby needs to actually win some matches first, though. And the quickest road, right? The quickest road to becoming world's heavyweight champion is either winning that national championship or winning the television title. If you become TV champion, right, you only have to win 7 more matches. You win the national title, you have an opportunity to cash in right then and there. So it would be huge, Mr. Latimer, to get another title on his way to the 10 pounds of gold. Want to say what's up to Guardian of Chaos. Thanks for checking us out. Guardian of Chaos says, I believe Bearcat Wright in 1961 WWA was the first black heavyweight champion. I think you're right. I won't. I know Bobo Brazil actually defeated Buddy Rogers, the Nature Boy, but that match was reversed later by referee decision because there was an injury to Buddy Rogers, and back then it's like the title couldn't change hands or something like that. It was basically like a Dusty finish before Dusty finish. Ben says the NWA live chat is popping today. Yeah, man. Look, man, this is a great community, and it's all because of you guys. It's, you know, I'm here to talk to you guys, and we're here to create this community. But like, if I was sitting here talking to myself, it wouldn't be as much of a fun show. It's a hell of a lot more fun when you guys get me out of breath just talking. Ben says, I'd like to see Bestia get a shot at the juniors and Mecha Wolf versus Dane. I mean, look, Mecha Wolf is great, but I feel like you put him in the ring with Jack Stain, and he's just not the same guy. But yeah, Bestia as junior heavyweight champion, that'd be tight. I think that would be a lot of fun too. Willie says, what about Royce Isaacs challenging Trevor Murdoch? I mean, Royce Isaac is good, man, but he hasn't been involved with the NWA in a couple of years. And I don't think you're going to see him in the NWA anytime soon. He seems to be enjoying his time with New Japan Strong, where he is teaming with I always forget that guy's name. Nelson something. I don't know. They're having a lot of fun being a part of Team Filthy, so I don't think you'll see him in the NWA anytime soon. Bobby says, I'd like to see PJ Hawks versus Red Titus or Kenny Morton in the junior heavyweight division. Be a lot of fun. Yeah, I agree. Scooby says the Kanzana promotion is now a new NWA affiliate in Knoxville. And I think that's great. See, that's what I'm talking about. These are strategic alliances that help make the NWA better. And I'm all for making the NWA the best version it can be. We don't need to go back to the old territory days. We don't need to have affiliates and associates and all that. But if you could partner with a few promotions, the Pope has a charity promotion in Florida. Imagine if that was an NWA television taping. Everything you're trying to accomplish for your fundraiser can still happen. You'll just have NWA matches there. And hell, that might be a write-off for the NWA and for Billy Corgan because it's for a charity show. Let's see. Willie Bone says, what about Pentagon in the NWA? I mean, sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's under contract with AEW, so I don't know that you're going to be able to see him in the NWA. He says Bobo shouldn't be counted as a former champion, in my opinion. Like, I kind of agree with you on that one. I think that when we talk about the 10 pounds of gold, or the NWA Worlds Heavyweight Championship, I don't think that one should count. Just like I don't think the some of those title swaps in Puerto Rico should count. It wasn't supposed to be a title change. Thank you, Bobby. Jarrell Nelson. I can, for the life of me, and I've met the guy. I've talked to him. I've watched him wrestle in the Empire Wrestling Federation. I've watched him wrestle Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I know who Jarrell Nelson is. I can never remember his name when we're doing this podcast. Guardian of Chaos says, I believe Tyrus having the TV title has greatly exposed the NWA to mainstream audiences, smart business, but needs challengers. See, And I agree with you. I agree with you, Chaos. But at some point, he's exposed himself. Oh, that didn't sound right. He's been exposed to that audience as the NWA TV champion. But what has he done for the NWA as champion? I mean, I get it, and I know this sounds kind of like I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but I feel like his in-ring ability isn't what it needs to be. My brother actually asked me about this recently. He said, "What do you think about Tyrus? Does that guy still can go?" And no, he cannot still go. Tyrus is not good in the ring, and it's not that he isn't. We saw him bump for Mims when he took that clothesline for Mims or got body slammed by Mims. He really sold that. The most believable I think I've ever seen Tyrus in a match. He looked like he was actually there, but the rest of the time he's not really bumping. He doesn't really sell, and it's just overall kind of difficult to watch him wrestle. And I'm not trying to be a dick right now. I'm not, because I think Tyrus does have extreme value for the NWA. I think he should be in the commentary booth. I think he would be well served to be in the commentary booth. Wade Barrett was such a great addition to the NWA, and he never stepped into the ring. He was an announcer, commentary. I think the same could be said for Mr. Tyrus Smash. It's not like he's a spring chicken either. He's getting up there in age. I don't know how much more years of actual in-ring competition he's going to have. But with that being said, this is Billy's NWA, not Jake Hal's. And then Wrestling with the MMA says, "Isn't Jor-El Superman's dad's name?" Yes. Media M5 says, "Tyrus is slimming down, but his ability isn't what it was from WWE. Yes, it was years back, but he is wrestling different, not just due to it being the NWA style, in my view." See, but my idea, though, or my value with Tyrus is, look, the guy is wrestling like Andre the Giant, but late Andre the Giant. Like Andre the Giant when he was, just a few years before retirement. He doesn't look crisp in the ring. He doesn't look smooth. It's very hard to watch. And, honestly, if this was real, competitive sports, you would just kick him in the knee a couple of times until he collapses, because his legs are not very mobile. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Guarding Chaos. I hear what you're saying, Media M5. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. Just he's not my cup of tea. He had his run as champion. I think it's time to close the story on that. Allow him to wrestle. Maybe he does get to wrestle Trevor Murdoch for the World's Heavyweight title. And then after that can quietly retire and join the commentary booth. That's what I would think. I'd like to see him. Tyrus says, Willie says, "Tyrus is good at being a table at a picnic buffet." No, he's not, because he eats the food, Willie. Bobby says, "I'd like to see Camille defend the Women's World Championship against Holidead or La Rosa Negra at Mission Pro." Hey, book it, man. Book it. Do you have Thunder Rosa's number? Maybe you can give her a call. And Medium 5 says, "I agree. He's older, probably worn down." Yeah, and it's like, look, man, I don't want to be mean to the guy. I know, with no disrespect intended here, Tyrus is an older dude. He did his time. He's made his money. He made his fame. He's still able to take advantage of these opportunities that are in front of him. Real quick, tonight we will see the in-ring debut of NWA Power with Taya Valkyrie. She takes on Taryn Terrell. Now, we know from previous matches with Taryn Terrell, she doesn't really like to get her hands dirty, so don't know much what kind of a match this will be. It'll be fun to see nonetheless. We will have the Master of Ceremonies, Bully Ray, will be in attendance. We don't know what he will be doing tonight. I mean, those who were there, Scoob, might know what's going on, but I do not. We have our World's Heavyweight Champion, Trevor Murdoch, will be speaking to the audience, and I'm sure he's going to say something like, "I did it without your support. I don't need you. You're all a bunch of chumps." And yeah, I don't know. And then, of course, in the main event of tonight, we will see the Cardonas taking on Strictly Business. This could be a very interesting match. If Adonis is right, if Latimer's right, the Cardonas have been pretty good as of late. This could be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to this show, and I hope that sorry about that. I hope you guys all are as well. I really think we'll have some fun tonight, and I am going to wrap it up here because we did go a little bit late. Media says that Bully looks like Alex Jones. Willie wants to see Rosemary versus Camille. Medium says, when I see Tyra, sorry, I still think of King Hippo from Tyson Punch-Out. The mayor says, I've been critical of genocide, but she has really been improving seriously as of late. Plus, she is hot without the robot paint and the attitude. She's putting it all together. And Guardian, thank you for at least hearing my points. I might not be right, but I like to think I make a compelling argument. And so that's going to do it for us, guys. I do appreciate you all being here, man. This was a fun show. We will be back here Tuesday night. I'll be joined by my pal DKM, probably Jaden. We'll see. Maybe we'll have some other people here to talk with us, and we'll do some NWA talk as we recap, review, retcon, and reconsider all things NWA as we talk power and well, I guess it'll just be power. And then also, if you hadn't done so already, I had a really nice conversation with Jay Stone, former professional wrestler, referee, soon to be returning back to action. He used to referee matches for the NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Paragon Pro Wrestling, and a lot of other places too. He was very transparent about his past, his history, his drug addiction, his recovery. I hope you guys will take a listen to that. But because it's almost time, please go use the restroom, enjoy yourself, and then check out NWA POWERRR. But until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.